I'm going to record a little something, and this is where I'm going to start. So, uh, for Gmail and HubSpot, we'll show both of these at the same time. This is the idea and concept of Dubb, and then also some of the exact functionality of how it's going to be used either one to one through something like a Gmail, or even one to many, more automation through something like HubSpot. One of the first things is just this very traditional use case. So, Connor, this will kind of depend on your volume as well. Like if you have to get 500 of these out in one day, this particular method I'm going to show you is probably not doable. But if it's a lower volume, like 20 or 50 even, this is actually very doable per day. I'll show two different methods of this same concept. First, this is what it looks like inside of Gmail. There's that little button right there. So you can click it. Here's one I already recorded, so I can instantly insert that. I'm going to show how to record this video as well. But that's basically the way that this technology is going to work. Now I'm going to show you specifically how I made that type of video, because we have a little shortcut on the Dubb mobile app. So this is the Dubb mobile app right here. And there's a little clipboard looking thing right there. And that's what actually gives you the digital whiteboard. And this is where you say, hey, John, like I have in my example there. And then now all I have to do is, let me fix I turned off my rotation. So you have to have that on. Then you rotate and it gives you the full board. This is compatible with a tablet as well, which would give you an even bigger sort of space. And then I can press start recording. And I'm going to say, hey, John, just wanted to put a quick face to the name. Thank you so much for attending our webinar. I hope you found some valuable information there. What I wanted to do is I wanted to present an additional opportunity for those that attended the webinar. Below this, or actually after this, you're going to find another video that explains our next steps and sort of what this engagement looks like. You're also going to find right below this a link to the calendar. You could even check out some options yourself for moving forward, or visit the website for more information, and also some relevant case studies about how people are using this data and analytics to enrich their business. So thanks again for your time. Thanks for the webinar attendance, and looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this next message. So something like that. Now, Connor, I kind of used a generic example of maybe you're reaching out to somebody after your webinar, but that was essentially what I would recommend for a very simple use case. And the reason why is, you're probably aware, but there's a lot more emails and text messages and messages in general that's being sent to everyone these days. AI and automation are making this even easier, right? To get a lot more plain text emails to a lot more people. And that's the problem that we're currently facing is, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, the average B2B prospect had like 100 messages, and now it's up to like 120 to 140 per day in busier inboxes. And most of that increase has been through AI, text-based emails, and automation. And so that's why I started with this Hey John piece, so that when people open this type of message, it's instantly differentiating from all the other noise that's out there. This is just one concept. Now, there's another really important thing that happens after this video, because you can see this one's only 20 or 30 seconds long. I just said, hey, John, thanks for attending the webinar. I had something to share with you. Let me know your thoughts. Now, there's another way to do this as well, which is instead of the Hey John thing, I could potentially go to their LinkedIn profile, or I could go to their website, or anything that they're going to recognize. So in this case, it's a LinkedIn profile. And I'm going to do a second type of video here, which is a visual. It's a screen recording that includes both me and them, or whatever's on the screen at the same time. So, Connor, this is actually a tool where if you have dashboards, analytics, contracts, proposals, anything that you'd want to show, that's kind of the idea with this tool, is I can press start recording, and then now I can record anything from my screen. This one's sort of a business development use case where I say, hey, Ruben, so great to connect. The reason we actually wanted to connect is we're helping individuals and companies just like yourself do some amazing things with their digital thermometer analytics. And I wanted to share that with you. It actually comes right after this. Would love to hear your thoughts. And if you're interested, below this, you'll find some relevant case studies, my contact information, and more. So thanks again for your time. Thanks for connecting, and looking forward to hearing your thoughts. And if I could ever be of service in anything related to the analytics of digital thermometer services, or some other things you'll find connected to this, just let me know. I always like to be of help to my connections. Something like that, right? 15, 20 seconds. So the same concept here as what I just showed in this, which is now when we go to share this video, either through email or through LinkedIn or through a text message or any channel really, that's what they're going to see is that thumbnail that was personalized for them. Like, sorry, there's several of these going back and forth, like this one here. So it's actually his LinkedIn profile with you on top of it that they'll see in the body of that message. Now, one other example for this is their website, right? You can go do the same thing. You go to the prospect's website and you put your little bubble on top of it instead. The concept with that is the person you're reaching out to is going to immediately recognize several things. One, that you're a real person that took the time to actually create a video, a personalized video just for them. B, or two, that the video is actually for them, about them, not something generic that was sent to 10,000 other people or thousands of other people. And so, and then C, or three, it's completely different from 99% of everything in their inbox right now. So this is kind of concept and strategy one, which is the hyper personalization of videos being inserted into emails, texts, and social, using some of the recording technology. So just a quick pause there. Connor or anyone else, questions on that sort of first idea, the ability to record and either show yourself with personalization or something on the screen. Now, Connor, I didn't show any of your own sort of dashboards or analytics. That's kind of a given, though. You can pull up anything, metrics or contracts, proposals, so that you can showcase knowledge. Let me show a few more things with that, too. There's a teleprompter. So in case you don't want to memorize stuff, you could select from a script, have that automatically scroll while you're recording. And you can also have some advanced annotation tools. So you can say, look, if you click here or check this part of the dashboard, you'll get this type of information available to you. Or number one, number two, number three, stuff like that to make it much easier to create videos that are visual in nature and more informative and sort of easier to follow without needing to go, video editors or something fancy afterwards. So, okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Connor. Any questions on that first sort of concepts?
I'm super excited. I wish I was on video. You could see me smiling.
Right on, man. Good.
I've got a lot of things I'd love to say, but I also don't want
Yeah.
to just totally take over this conversation. So I'll give a quick pause if anyone wants to chime in.
Okay. Okay. Well, I see a bunch of questions in the contacts. Mark, it looks like most of those are going to be in the third part, which is going to be the sharing and sort of tracking component. So stay tuned for that, Mark. I will definitely answer all those for you. See them in the Q&A. Steve, how likely is the video to be stopped by G and thrown in the spam folder? Okay, how likely is the video to be stopped by Google or something and thrown in the spam folder? That's a great question. I would say that the number one reason emails go to spam is actually because of the sending reputation. So like if your email domain has been marked as spam or things in the past, that's the number one determining factor of whether it's going to spam. The second biggest thing is going to be the actual contents, the body of the email. So it's really important that whenever you attach a email or a video to an email, you add some text. So you would always put something like this: "Hey, John, check out this video." And the reason why is if you just put an image in the body of an email, an image only, that's going to go to spam. So check out this video I made for you, something like this. And then when you're ready to add the video, it's going to look like this. And another great question is, this is not like an attachment. There's nothing to download. So like here, I'll send this to myself and you'll see it looks just like this. Essentially performs the same way as an email signature. Now, there are some domains, there are some things that are extremely strict where any outside link, like if you try to send them a link from your website and your website's not on their allow list, then that can potentially go to a quarantine or a promotions or spam folder. But the way that Dubb Video works is it's basically the equivalent. Like you can see, this is what attachments and stuff look like. And when I open this, you can see there are no attachments. There's nothing to download. It's essentially the same as an email signature with an image, a very light compressed image, which is like your headshot, and then a link to the Dubb page, which is like a link to your website. So great question there, Steve. The number one thing I would say is check on your deliverability first, because that's the single biggest determining factor of whether your emails are going to go to inbox or somewhere else. There's a really useful resource right here called Mail Tester. This is one that gives you a really good score breakdown. Another one is this Warmy, this one right here. This one's really good if you have like a bulk sender and you want to try. So both of these are extremely useful tools for
The biggest Black Friday deal is cable.
seeing exactly how your emails are performing in terms of deliverability. So,
What
okay,
was that first one? Mail test?
Mail Tester, yeah. And I have this all in recording too. And by the way, guys, if you'd like a copy of this, I'm going to cover a bunch of useful stuff. Just email me, Darius@dubb.com. I'll put it in the chat right now. Just email me and I can get a copy of this entire recording over to you. Both of those mail tester tools are extremely useful. One is just for your quick one-off, like your Gmail, and the other ones if you want to test like your bulk sender, like if you're sending, you want to see how your placements in Gmail and Outlook and Yahoo. It gives you a really detailed breakdown. So let me just show those one more time. Okay. Anyway, besides email deliverability stuff, any questions on those first two sort of ideas though, Connor, about the screen piece and then the just regular webcam inside an email?
I've heard for a while that people are having success sending personalized video.
Right.
I think that they've done that over LinkedIn, and I've never really broached it. I tried LinkedIn Mail, and I never really broke through there.
Yeah.
And there's another company called Vidyard that does the screen sharing thing, but it doesn't do the GIF. It doesn't do the GIF thing, I don't think. It doesn't have the whole kind of platform and set up. And so when I found you, I was like, oh my God, this is everything, because I wanted to be able to send it. I wanted, to your earlier point, I want to be able to now, I just did, 5 weeks of prospecting and I got, some leads from it, but just not what I find.
Not enough. Not what you want. Not your goal.
Yeah. And I've done a lot of the heavy lifting,
Right.
right? Like I know who I'm reaching out to. I know the company and I know the contact.
Right.
So use that, leverage it. And the GIF is like perfect. I agree. It shouldn't hurt just deliverability, like unless they're extremely tight on stuff.
Right. They've had some, and in that case, I do recommend, like if you can see your emails are bouncing, if you get a thing that says your message was rejected, you can try sending just to plain text only, right? Remove your signature, remove any link, and then people will use that for sort of cold outreach to measure a response. Like if you're reaching out to like banks or like obviously reaching out to banks, but if you were reaching out to some people with really strict email policy, you might find that just send a plain text to start a combo. Yeah,
I'm sending images already, and I already have links in there.
Well, there you go. So then, it's not going to be any different than anything you're currently doing. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm super excited, and I had one specific question, which is in your video you have done like and I've used the web version. I just downloaded the app. I haven't played around with it yet, but you wrote in like, hey, I like the idea of doing the website, right?
Yeah.
It's custom to them.
Right.
The Hey John thing is also really interesting to me. Like, have you had, it's almost weird, but I love it. Like, is it, I don't know. Like, have you?
No, we've measured the difference here. And it's like this, like, hey, like the thumbnail looks like this. It's just me versus your name in it or versus your website or LinkedIn profile. That makes a tremendous difference in terms of click-throughs and stuff. And it depends on the people you're reaching out to. Like people with, like everyone likes to hear their own name, right? Like not necessarily likes, but everyone reacts gutturally, instinctually when they like, wow, this was actually done for me. This was this person said my name, took the time to do something specific for me. It does make a tremendous difference in both click-through rates because they see it's personalized for them, and response rates because then they understand that, wow, this was really made personally for me. And the vast majority of people have not received, unless they're like a VP or CEO or something, they've probably never received personalized videos before.
Got it. Sick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
I'll let you keep going. I don't want to derail you.
All right. I got a couple more really cool pieces to show. John, your hand was up, my friend. I'm gonna go ahead and answer, ask what you got, and then I'm gonna proceed to part two. Go ahead, John.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, awesome. I appreciate it. So, first of all, you answered one of my questions about sending the static email first, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a revenue science guy, so I know deliverability is important.
Right.
I use traditional sales, teaching teams how to cold call. So that's why this is exciting for me.
Yeah.
But have you all ran any studies on which one of those converts, the hand and whatnot? And then the reason why I'm asking this is, have you seen anyone customize thumbnails using like a psychological story brand type approach? Let's just say some type of image that aligns to their problem, but then like integrating their company logo or their face into it. Has anyone taken it next level?
Right.
Just
Well, I would
curious.
say one of the things that I've seen done really well, guys. I'm going to go on the advanced mode really quick here. So for our beginners, forgive me if you need further explanation on this. I'm going to go a little bit advanced really quick. So one of the things we're talking about is the different types of hyper personalization, whether that's a whiteboard with their name on it, their LinkedIn profile, their website. There's a few different variables that I would say make this the most effective, or which one of those are going to be the most effective. The LinkedIn background, I only recommend for doing that to LinkedIn connections, because it tells you a few different things: that they're connected, that they're active on LinkedIn, actually responding to connections. If you're just sending them through connection requests, I don't recommend that, because there's more than a 50% chance they never see or respond to that message. So the LinkedIn one I only recommend for LinkedIn connections, and I think that the LinkedIn one is probably going to have one of the higher conversion rates, because LinkedIn messages have a higher open rate than cold email. And B, these people have engaged with you already in terms that they've responded to your connection request. Maybe there's some other engagement between, like they've seen a post of yours. There's something else happening versus a completely cold email. So out of all of them, I would say the LinkedIn sent to connections probably has the highest conversion rate, because those people are the closest already, right? They're in a smaller pool of people that are already in your sphere, and LinkedIn email or LinkedIn messages have a higher open rate than cold email anyways. So all those factors I would say is determined that. Now there's one other thing here that's really cool about customizing thumbnails. There's actually a feature called the narrator, where I don't need to actually record every single video myself. I'm going to take an example here. This is a pre-recorded video, right? This is something I recorded already previously on a different day. And now I'm on Ruben's LinkedIn profile, and I'm only going to press record here. Wait, actually, one more. Let me share my audio. Share sound. Here we go. Okay, so here's my pre-recorded video. I'm on Ruben's profile, and all I do is press record. Hey there, it's Darius. I just wanted to put a quick face to the name, make this video for you. And the reason why I actually wanted to share this video, anyway, so now you get it, is that it looks like a hyper personalized video of me talking to Ruben on his LinkedIn profile, but I'm not actually doing it. The VA can do this for me, or a junior rep can take my video and then make 10, 20, 50, 100 hyper personalized versions of a video like this. So to answer your first question, I would say that the LinkedIn one probably has the highest conversion rate due to those several factors. They're connected, open rates are higher when compared to completely cold email. The next one I would say would maybe even be website, because this is usually like an account-based marketing. Like, so let's say Warmy was the company we were after. I might do a video from the Warmy website, because then now I can send that to 3, 4, 5 decision makers within Warmy, if that's the case that I'm doing, like account-based marketing. And then lastly is the just the face to the name one. If you have your direct prospects and you have an omni-channel approach, like maybe they're on email, LinkedIn, SMS, or some other channel, then I like just the whiteboard one. So that's kind of a breakdown between those three different tools, when one is the most appropriate versus the other. The hyper personalization, where you're able to say somebody's name, show something specific, is always going to have the highest conversion rate, because someone that actually opens it, they're more likely to open it, and they're more likely to see, oh wow, they took their time to do something for me. And if you've done your homework and you're, it's the matches, right? You're reaching out to ICPs that are fitting with your message. That's going to leave you with the highest chance of a connection and a successful, response.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff. Good questions as well. And exactly the same thing about the mass cold outreach approach. That's what every mass cold email expert's going to recommend right now, is just get the text out there, because you're trying to get a hand raise, and that's just a numbers game. And then as soon as you get the hand raise, that's when you hit them with the video. So good.
And not to hijack you,
Yeah.
in cold sales, the number one tool that we have that we teach to, I don't know, startups or even growth stage companies is to utilize a story. I noticed you guys have a call to action at below the video for the
Yeah.
story. But have you ever led with it, or at some point can you talk about taking that and integrating that into this process and warming up a lead versus using that on a cold call?
Right. I would say actually one of our favorite coaches that works with us, she actually does her own coaching program from Dubb users, is exactly that, is to help people develop a story, a narrative that takes you across like a hero's journey. So it's definitely something that I recommend, but it's kind of like starting a YouTube channel or something. There's a little bit more involvement of creating and crafting a compelling narrative. It's definitely something we have a lot of training on. We have AIs to sort of help you develop a story. And it's definitely something I recommend. But like I said, there is a little bit more of a hurdle there as well. So what we try to do for people is get them to walk before they can run. So like do something simple like, hey, John, I was thinking of you and wanted to share this. And then eventually, like if you're running webinars, advertisements, doing larger scale outreach, then I would say that we're going to dive deeper into that. So absolutely important point there, John. Storytelling, the narrative, the hero's journey, those are all important elements of taking somebody from, I have no idea who the heck is John, what the heck is Dubb, all the way to, wow, their clients are achieving success. They're just like my clients, and I can be just like John here who succeeded. I want to be a part of this thing. So I definitely recommend storytelling and creating a compelling narrative around your product, service, or business. And then being able to showcase that in video. But it's certainly a little bit of practice. It's like, cold calling scripts or good email copy. It takes some practice. I'm going to show you a couple other things too of how to leverage the technology that kind of helps build a narrative. So what I showed you guys in the first part was two different types of creation tools, webcam and then the screen. But a more important thing even than that is what happens when you create a video. So I'm going to go back to this first example here I made, looks like 19 minutes ago. When you make a video, Dubb is going to automatically build a landing page, a website for every single video that you record. Now, how this website or landing page gets built is going to be based on what you guys are trying to accomplish, your goals, your settings, and more. So here's the one I made for John, right? And let's come back to the script first. This is, hey, John, just important. What did I say? I said, hey, John, wanted to put a quick face to name. And this was actually the example for Connor. I was like, thanks so much for coming to the webinar. I wanted to share another opportunity with you for attending the webinar. Here it is. That's basically what I said. So because I have the same value proposition, the same sort of offer for everyone that attended the webinar, that's not something that I want to repeat over and over. So instead, I have this first part that's super personalized where I get to say, John, thank him, do something unique for him. Maybe there's even some information I wanted to share about him. And right at the end of this video, so that's what I've done. I went to the end of this video, and now when I play, it rolls We're going to show you into the next video automatically. And this is the one where it's your product overview, your explainer, your value proposition. And I like to call this the best of both worlds because here you're able to take a well-articulated, maybe edited, polished sort of value proposition, or, like this one here, it's an example of Dubb and shows all the really cool stuff Dubb does, but it's got some polish to it. So instead of me repeating myself for 94 seconds every single time I want to say, hey, John, the playlist is designed to take that off of my shoulders. So it's going to take the repeatable part of my message and actually repeat it for me. And I also have this playlist intentionally visible for you guys. So you can see there are actually a number of videos here, but it's going to behave, very much like one video. So we're going to show you how it rolls right into the next one. And then after your explainer, your value proposition, then it can roll into
our sales rep 150
testimonials,
Dubb is
or case studies, or client success stories, or further explainers, or upsells, or cross sells, or whatever makes sense for this given opportunity. So this is a really important piece because it really makes doing these types of videos much more scalable. Because I can promise you, recording for 2 minutes, 3 minutes perfectly, doing that 50 times is exponentially harder than recording, hey, John, I wanted to share a quick message with you, 30-second style videos. You can do 20, 50, 100 of these even in a day very easily versus trying to record for 3 or 4 minutes perfectly every single time. So this has been a tremendous relief to our users. It's allowed them to scale their efforts a lot more while accomplishing better results with less effort. So record less, accomplish more is really the idea with this playlist. Now, a couple other functions here. Buttons, these are the calls to action, and they can really do almost anything you can think of. So it can be one click to download an attachment, to fill out a form, to go to a website, of course, like some success stories. They can book a time in a calendar. They can also, like, if you guys don't have any good video testimonials yet, you can capture them with Dubb. So one click, they don't need to download or sign up or install anything. They can just click a button and send it back to you so that you can put their testimonial in a website, in a landing page, on Dubb, whatever you need. So video, download attachments, phone call, text message, email, anything, just about anything you can think of somebody can do from a landing page or website. That's what these buttons are for. And what I showed you guys too, and I recorded this example for John, Dubb added everything else here automatically. My explainer, my testimonials, my calls to action, specifically the ones that I wanted them to see. And lastly is the AI chat assistant over here as well, where this is it's like Chat GPT in that it can intelligently answer their questions. However, it's unlike Chat GPT in that it's not scanning the whole internet for random answers. It's only trained on what you want it to be trained on. It can answer your FAQs, general questions, but then it's also unlike Chat GPT in that it actually cares about your outcomes. So if somebody chats with it here, it can present a call to action, like a link or something for them to do. It can also capture leads. Like it's going to, if you want it to, it can ask for their email, their phone number, their first name, last name. So it can capture leads, present calls to actions, meaning make conversions, and answer questions 24 hours a day, all while you're asleep or on vacation or whatever, busy doing something else. So this whole page, guys, that you're seeing, the buttons, the AI assistant, the playlist, the branding and stuff, all 100% customizable and all added to every single video that you record automatically. And now one further thing from this, this is all what I consider a basic or generic use case for something like business development. I get a lead from any industry. We're going to show you how Dubb can be used. They can see this 2-minute explainer that's for any industry, or these testimonials are for 10 different industries. And then this success stories also for many different industries. So that's why I consider this a more generic page. But what if I have a very specific industry or persona that I want to reach out to? I just changed this preset. It's like a template. So I've changed one switch, and now you can see it changed everything on this video. So before it was generic testimonials, generic explainer video, generic success stories. Now it's an explainer video for admissions, a testimonial from a university admissions, a case study for university admissions. So now it looks like I'm an expert in university admissions using video with just one click. So this is just to show you guys that maybe you have different products or services. Maybe you have different ideal customer profiles that you're reaching out to. Or maybe you just have different stages in your sales cycle. So I'm going to do one more here, which is for reviews. Maybe you sold them, now they're happy. Now you need to collect a review or referral from them. So this is just to show you that whatever different use cases you have in your business, maybe it's prospecting, maybe it's closing. So you're sending contracts and proposals. Maybe it's asking for reviews, or maybe it's different personas like I showed here, different ICPs. You're instantly able to package and customize your videos with all of your best assets with a click. Or it's done automatically like I showed in the first example. So, okay, quick pause there. Questions on the packaging and the rest, Mark, your stuff is about sending. I'm going to cover each of those, but I want to make sure we just go sort of in sequential order here. So we talked about how to create the videos in part 1. And then in part 2, now we just covered how to package the videos, how to make sure that they have your best options and branding and you're recording as little as you need to while accomplishing as much as we can. So questions on that? Patricia, is your hand still up from earlier?
Yes, it is up. It's up now.
Yeah, go ahead.
I attempted to do the video and written message in my email, but somehow I wasn't following the directions. So I need someone to help me. And I'm wondering if I could get someone today to help me straighten that out, because my campaign it failed. And so I think, uh-oh.
So, Patricia, are you talking about you sent a campaign through Dubb, like a bulk email through Dubb?
Yes.
Okay.
And um, I put a video saying hi, I'm putting name to the face, and I invited them to a webinar,
Mm-hmm.
but it it it's the analytics told me that it failed. It didn't send to 100 people, and it still has a note sending. And so the webinar is tomorrow, and
Mm.
that's not a good thing. So
Okay.
I'm
So
wondering if
I
I
can
can
tell
have
you exactly right now what happened is currently you have a free Gmail connected to Dubb. A free Gmail has a daily sending limit of only 100 emails. So, like a free Gmail can't be used to send more than 100 emails per day in a bulk setting without Gmail probably telling you, hey, you're trying to send too many emails through that email. So, because the list that you had added looks like it was 700 or yeah, 780 people, or
yeah.
680. But yeah, I think there's also something that we okay, so then we used a very large template. I also don't recommend that. I'm just going to show really, this is really good. I'm not going to go into your super detail, but just really quick, this is what I mean. Like a template like this, I don't recommend guys sending templates like this because they don't look very personal. They don't look like I reached out to you because you're important to me. It looks like I probably sent this to hundreds or thousands of people. So
Okay.
yeah, I in the beginning, I would definitely recommend just a simple looking email, like it looks like you personally wrote it for them, for a few reasons. One is it's going to look better to them. It looks like you care about them more and you wrote them an email. And it's hard to tell if it was sent to 10,000 other people or not. This one is very obvious that it was sent to many people. So that's
Okay.
one. The second thing is when there's more template, more HTML like buttons and links and text and images, those are
Mhm.
more likely to go to promotions and spam because the email service providers, they know, like if I wrote an email and it's a few sentences long and I sent it to somebody, that's what a real human email looks like versus a marketing email. They understand that marketing emails have more paragraphs, more images, more text, more links and templates. And so those are much more likely to go to promotions and spam. So instead, I would try shortening this up, Patricia. Make it a
Uh-huh.
simple, like, make the subject really good, but make the body shorter, especially ones that have a video in it. And you should have a video here inviting them to the webinar. And then for the webinar registration, you would have that as a button below the video. So that also, it looks like there's a mistake in the URL here. You see that exclamation mark?
Yeah.
That was likely a mistake, and that's actually what it said in the error. It's like, hey, there was a mistake in your URL. So
Okay.
yeah,
So, I copied and pasted it to do not have mistakes, but
there was an extra exclamation in there somehow. It looks like, and that's usually never in a URL. It's an exclamation point. So, um,
okay.
but Patricia, I actually did a video too. I don't think you were able to stay the full time yesterday, but I did a recording of yesterday's, and I did include the webinar instructions in the last part of it. So I have that for you. If you shoot me an email, I can get it over to you.
Oh, okay, great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you got it. But that's the main issue with there is there's too big of a list
Mhm.
for sending out in one day through a free Gmail, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. We might have to push it out because I want you to get more. And John had a suggestion there. If you get a paid Google, like at yourbusiness.com, you could send a much higher volume, like 300 a day or more potentially. So that would
Oh,
be one other option. Yeah, if you wanted to have a paid Gmail.
okay.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna keep going here. I have a third part which we're actually ready to talk about, which is the sharing and tracking. We just touched a little bit on this, but I have to start with the one-to-one stuff first. So, really quickly, this is super important. I want to make sure I cover it. Thank you for your patience, guys. Here, let me make sure anybody new that doesn't have their mic on. Okay, everybody's good. Here we go. So, whenever you are sending a video via email, you absolutely want to add the word video to the subject line. That's going to let people know there's a video inside of this email. So maybe you can say video for you. If you made a personal one, I made a video for you, something like this in the subject line. This is going to stand apart immediately from all of the other emails in their subject. I also, HubSpot has said emojis increase open rates recently. So I recommend putting emojis in your subject line. Do still write your subject line, make it interesting. Guys, I explained there's a lot of messages in your prospects, your inbox of your potential clients right now. So yours have to be as interesting as possible to help stand out. Second thing, so make your subject like this. Second thing, you always need at least one sentence. So I'd say, hey, John, check out this video I made for you about X, where X is something interesting for them, valuable for them, right? Especially if this is for business development, for building trust. It's never about us and, hey, we're so awesome. Check out this video. That people don't resonate well with that. I made a video specifically for you about your business, about your competitor, about your biggest pain points and problems, right? It's about them if you're trying to get them their attention. And now when you're adding the video, if you're in Gmail or Outlook, there's a little integration where you can simply click and insert like that. So this is what a video email looks like with Dubb. Do make sure you always have at least one sentence. Do not make the mistake of putting multiple paragraphs there. It will defeat the purpose. They will scan and ignore it just like every other email. So do only include a short sentence or two that compels them to watch the video. Maybe one more. Let me know your thoughts. If they're feeling polite, they're more inclined to respond with their thoughts. So this is what your video emails should look like, regardless of whether you're sending them through Gmail or Outlook or whatever. We also talked a little bit about bulk sending, where templates like MailChimp made templates extremely popular. But I can promise you, go do a deliverability test like I was talking about here earlier. Do a deliverability test of your, or even better, an open and a click test on your next bulk email, right? Try one that looks like you wrote it personally, like this. This looks like I wrote this email to John. And it's going to look exactly the same if I sent it to 10,000 people. On your next bulk send, try one like this if you currently have been sending big fancy templates. Like we have the fancy templates in Dubb. You can build them and send them with Dubb. I don't recommend that though, because of our recent studies, results, testing. Emails went through a lot of changes this year alone in February. They made bulk sending much harder and more difficult to get into the inbox. So if you're sending stuff like this currently, I recommend just trying it, split testing it for yourself. Every time we've measured that with a client, their result has been significant, like twice the response rate, twice the click rate, very easily doubling their original numbers with their big fancy templates. So I highly recommend simplifying your bulk emails to more human looking emails that looks like you personally wrote them. Like they shouldn't be able to tell that this email was written to 10,000 people or not. They should not be able to tell. And if they can, that instantly sort of breaks that trust, right? They're like, oh, this person doesn't care about me personally. They're just sending everything to, spray and pray, right? That's what the assumption is. So that is what sending one-to-one looks like. Now, there are, of course, lots of bulk sending options. In fact, Dubb has a built-in CRM and campaign options. We were just talking about one of these. So you can come and send, 10,000 emails at a time. We were also discussing the limits here. So on a free Gmail, it's 100 per day. On a paid Gmail like this, here, I'll show you. Team campaign settings. So like a free, this Outlook, this is a free. So 100 per day. If it's at Dubb, like this is a paid Gmail, or that's SendGrid, sorry. This is a paid Gmail. So it can send up to 300 per day. It's only set at 100 right now. But by default, guys, when you connect a new email, it will limit it to 100 per day, just in case it is a free email. If it is a paid email, we can always increase your limit. If you want to add SendGrid to Dubb, this is where you can send, 100,000 emails in a day if you want. Just let us know. We can always increase your limit. We have them set to 100 so that you don't go get yourself in trouble. Because if you connect a free Gmail or even a paid Gmail and you set it to 500 or 1,000 a day and you go try to send 1,000, your email service provider is not going to be happy with that. So we do this so guys don't get yourself in accidental trouble. But of course, you can increase these limits. Just let us know. Like, hey, I have my paid Gmail, boost my limit, or I want to connect SendGrid, increase my limit. So right there through the chat support, we're always happy to do that for you.
Oh, through the chat support.
Yeah. You just come right to this little green bubble right here and say, hey, I need to increase my limit. I've added a paid Gmail. I've added a SendGrid. I've added some other email. Please increase my limit. But just be aware the free emails like at Gmail or at Yahoo or whatever, those usually cannot exceed that 100 a day limit. And if it's a new email, like if you just got it, it likely can't exceed probably more than 20 or 30 or 40 in one day. So just be
what about company emails?
if it's at a company email like that, like this is Mark, I think, right? You're at
Yes,
that
yes.
brokerage. It's likely not more than 300 per day. So paid Gmails and Outlooks like at a domain.com, they usually cap out around 300 per day when sent through automations or bulk API communications like this. So 300, I would say. Okay.
There's
Yep.
Hey,
Go
just
ahead.
real quick, put my hand down. You're talking about the paid Gmail.
Uh-huh.
I don't actually have a paid Gmail, but I do have a domain
Yep.
that my new LLC
Uh-huh.
that I bought, which I stupidly
If you
bought.
got it through like GoDaddy will sell you an Outlook email that you can use with your paid domain, and then you can connect that the same as you could with Gmail.
Yep, that's my question is how do you set up a domain to actually be in that Gmail?
Okay, well, for Gmail, it's going to be a little bit different when you go to, because you have to go pay for a Google Workspace Gmail, like Google Workspace pricing. You would either get their standard one, it's like $8, $6 looks like, or I think it's 8 a month, and or 12. So either one of those, you'd have to get the plan first, and then they're going to have you copy some records, like a DNS record, MX, TXT. So you have to paste a couple of records from Google into your domain, and then your domain will be verified on Gmail, and you can send from a paid domain on Gmail. The same will go with Outlook though too. Like if you bought it through GoDaddy, they'll sell you an Outlook cheaper than that Google Workspace, and it'll have a similar sending limit.
Well, let me ask you this too, because they gave me some kind of instructions, man. But and them instructions are hard. You make things easier by
Right.
putting that business domain into a Gmail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it was a little bit difficult. I mean, I got halfway through it. They asked me to do something, and I was frustrated.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit technical. I can probably produce something after this, Jai, like how to add a Gmail domain or how to set up a technical record. There's probably a YouTube video out there. Someone's already done a really good job of it. But let me find a resource for you though, Jai.
You do it better though. You baby it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I do try to make things easy to follow. So
I appreciate you. If you
You
do
got it,
that,
Jai.
be man. You be the man. You are the man.
Appreciate you, buddy.
All right,
Thank
there.
you. Okay. One more thing, guys, is Connor, my friend, you mentioned HubSpot. So we do have a really nice integration with HubSpot, also with dozens of other CRMs and marketing automation tools and stuff like that. So the way that it's going to work is while you're in your HubSpot account, you can click right here on the Chrome extension, and it actually does a thing where I can now copy and paste this into HubSpot emails, text messages, whatever, and be able to track results from there. There's also a two-way integration with HubSpot in the marketplace here. So settings, marketplace, where you can connect HubSpot directly so that it keeps the contacts in sync. And as people watch videos, it passes that reporting back to the HubSpot records. So it's a full, robust integration with HubSpot that's possible, where you can send and track videos through HubSpot, emails, automations, and more. And then you can have the reporting and contacts stay in sync between both platforms using the marketplace integration.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it wouldn't matter then if I sent it through HubSpot or if I sent the email through you, because if I had that integration set up, it would.
Because yeah, your Gmail is what you're going to connect to Dubb to send a little campaign through there. It's still syncing to your HubSpot, same tracking there. Or if you're going natively through HubSpot through their one-to-one or automation or bulk send or whatever, it's all still through the same CRM and stuff. So all tracking is going to still take place and through that one system, one portal.
Perfect. One-to-one will be through Gmail. Mass, which I probably won't do right away.
Right.
But what would be through HubSpot? But
Yeah.
so I should, either way it'll be connected. So perfect.
Yep. Nice and easy too. You just insert directly through Gmail, showing that little shortcut I showed there, or using the copy and paste into any interface. Okay, one more quick just wrap up on the technology itself within Dubb, guys. So I talked about the main 3 components, right? How to create videos, how to package them so that you record less, accomplish more. I don't know where that page went. I guess I closed it like this with your presets. And then now I just discussed how to send and track through email, specifically with a subject, with a body. And you can get tracking on this, meaning get to see specifically who's watching the video, what percentage, things like that. If you're doing custom videos, it's sort of given, right? Like I sent this video to John. If it gets watched, John watches it. But there is another opportunity here, which I'll show really quickly, which is if you're recycling content, or like one video to many people, then there's this extra thing that says add email for tracking here. So like, let's say if I'm sending the same exact video, like this one right here, I'm sending the same exact video to different people. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right here to advanced, and I'm going to add their email for tracking. So here, Darius, Dubb. There we go. And so when I insert it, you can see it added Darius's email here, and it's added Darius's email to this video. So when Darius watches this specific version of his video, it's going to tell me a report. Hey, Darius watched his version of the video. So just be aware you can recycle the same content and still get unique tracking. Or if you're sending custom videos, you sort of automatically know that John was the one that watched this. So
yeah, that's really cool. We've sent out webinar follow-ups before through HubSpot, and
yeah,
it's been vague. It's been hard for us to figure that out. So we can
right.
just do.
Yeah, now we can go better. Do you have the media bridge connected? Because you can actually see, like, depending on the webinar analytics, you can maybe match those up into HubSpot and say if they watch more than 50% of the webinar or whatever, then send them down a workflow potentially. Media bridge has some cool APIs available.
No, I'll check that out. Yeah. No.
Okay. Guys, that's the majority of the technology. There is so much more that we've built here, guys. Like AI is incorporated through many different things. You can use your AI for script writing. You can use it for analyzing your own video feedback. Like there's this one here called Kyra, which provides analytics on your communication style. There's, like I said, AI script writing. There's AI video generation. There's AI analysis here. So there's a lot more stuff outside of the core functionality that I didn't show. There's a full CRM and marketing automation thing on Dubb as well. So if anyone has questions outside of that stuff, just let me know. But I'm going to pause really. I'm going to keep this recording going for some of your questions there, Mark. Can we sort our contacts in Dubb CRM, which is zip or yes, a tag? That's exactly what we just talked about. Yes, you can sort your contacts based on tags. I'll just show that really quick. There is, when you visit Dubb and you go to the CRM section, there's going to be a video there. When you actually, Mark, you're not new, so it won't be there for you. Just come here to this and type in contacts, how to manage contacts, and that's going to tell you have a video here about tagging and stuff like that. So that would be the best way to do it. For new people, you're going to find a video right there in the section. You don't even have to go finding it, but Mark's been with us for a while, so Mark, just search contacts and you'll have it exactly there. Here's another one. How do you load a buyer contract to screen and talk about it, make it work? Mark, that is the screen recorder. So if it actually, two things. If the contract is on a desktop, meaning you have to open it on your desktop, then you will want to use the Dubb desktop app. There's an important distinction here, guys. Really quick, I'll cover. If you need to record stuff outside of your browser, meaning not in Google Chrome, you need to record it on your desktop, like a PowerPoint or a document or something you only have on your desktop. You'll need to use the desktop app. You can see my bubble, my little video here. I can put it on my desktop like this. The Chrome extension is the other one, the little shortcut here, but the Chrome extension has a limit in that it can only record your bubble inside of Chrome. So look, if I try to bring it outside of Chrome, it stops at the edge, right? Like I can't drag it to my desktop. So if you need to record a document on your desktop, use the desktop app. So Mark, again, you'll come right here and just type in desktop. And then that's going to give you how to use the desktop app for Mac or PC, whichever device you're on. It's a very robust article with everything you need about how to install it, how to use it. All the good stuff is there. So Mark, specific question, contract would be desktop app. That'll work no matter what. So I recommend the desktop app. How do you recommend when doing a campaign of leads when someone I've connected with previously? That's a great question, Mark. For cold stuff, we just talked about that, right? If it's leads, those are cold. They if you're getting them from an online lead source or whatever, that's cold. Versus if someone opted on your website or you've contacted them, that's what I would consider a warmer lead. So inbound versus outbound, or what, like advertisement generation or a list purchase, is much different than like a referral. or someone that submitted on your form or your advertisement or something like that. Sorry, your website. So totally different there, Mark. For leads, I would treat them as cold until they've raised a hand or clicked a button or done something. Then I would move them into the previously contacted sort of step. So I would treat leads as cold, Mark. Okay, Steve, I think we answered yours. How likely is the video? It's possible, but there's plenty of ways to avoid that. Just follow best practices. Make sure your deliverability is good. John, have you found success in front running Dubb with static email and no links, no graphics cut through that, or is it perpetual? Yeah, I think John, we talked about this piece. Yeah, and
you did.
Yeah. Okay, good. And Instantly is a great cold email tool. You can their stuff is really nice in that it protects you from getting yourself in trouble. You can't send too many. They have limits built in. So Instantly is a fantastic cold email platform. And yes, you can add videos there, and we can add trackable videos as well. So if you want to put a video into they don't recommend it, right? They're like, say, send plain text, but you can add a link if you want, and we can track the result as well. And I think, John, we talked about the retargeting piece. You can everything but Twitter right now, and I'm going to talk to my team about adding it. So that should be coming soon. If you're able to suggest Dubb's outreach to high profile value. Okay, yes. So that's the one where I was showing on the LinkedIn. That's probably the best chance that I would have there, but only when they're connecting. If they're not connecting, they're probably not active on there. But for CEOs, I've seen some really cool stuff, John, and I think it'll depend on your deal size, like direct mailers. I've seen people, like I have this testimonial from a client, landed a $3.4 million deal from direct mailing a video on a little Kindle, whatever, a little cheap tablet. He mailed the Kindle with him with a video on it. So he opened the Kindle, he clicked the button. It was a video from him explaining exactly. It was like a cleaning thing. Like he had the guy owned a bunch of buildings, and they wanted a cleaning contract for all the buildings, and they won it. And it's a $3.4 million deal annually. So I've seen some really creative stuff done for high ticket products, but again, that was a very extensive product. Your business has to have a lot of meat on the bone for some of those more advanced tactics. But I've seen direct mailers with QR codes, right? It depends on the audience, the profile. Like if it's a CEO, you're not going to be able to directly mail them more than likely. You can't get their physical or personal address, and you're going to have to go through a gatekeeper to get in through the other mail. If you sent something like a tablet, though, their gatekeeper is going to be like, hey, somebody sent you a tablet, right? They're not going to keep it for themselves. That would be like a conflict of interest or something. So I've seen some very creative things done to break through like that gatekeeper and stuff. Otherwise, it's that traditional, the LinkedIn outreach where you're doing the personalized outreach on LinkedIn. It just gives us a better shot than the plain text because it instantly differentiates. What else? In-person stuff is where I've seen people, break down doors, essentially, kind of thing where they actually going into the business, they're leaving some kind of physical medium there with QR codes. That I've seen be a little bit unique. But those are sort of the ones that I've seen for our enterprise clients work the best. If you've been in enterprise sales or sort of higher ticket, higher audience outreach, you'll know that it's a difficult game in any case, and you got to be creative. You got to do stuff differently than what every other message in their inbox look like. So I think that's the number one thing is the creativity part of it, and hyper personalization is absolutely key at that point. Right? You're not going to send one of anything to any CEOs and have them respond at a great rate. So hyper personalization, probably the most important thing, and then getting really creative. So,
and here's my last question, not to hijack this, and I won't mention any names because I don't want to hijack any of your clients. It's not fair.
All good. What do you
got? So I am kind of like a Gittimer. I know you guys have the affiliate rate. So I'm curious, do you ever discuss partnerships? I also sit on the board of a couple companies. One of them, we actually do AI handwritten letters with QR code on the note.
Nice.
Real estate is a big segment for us. So
you got it.
Guys, would be an interesting conversation.
Gittimer cleaned up pretty. I was going to say Gittimer cleaned up pretty nicely on our partner program. Reach out to me directly. Just Darius@dubb.com. My director of partnerships is usually who I'd connect with. He's under the weather this week, though. He was really feeling out of it. Had a bad cold. Email me directly. I'll get you situated with what our sort of best options are. Guys, we go above and beyond for our partners. Like we'll do webinars together. We'll do YouTube videos. We'll do blog posts. We'll do outreach for you. We'll do demos for you. we'll literally go above and beyond in everything that we can do for you to help you earn that partner revenue. So whether it's one person you're referring to us, a business you're referring to us, we're perfectly open for partnerships, guys. And again, we'll go a lot farther than most other people will, most other similar software platforms will, in terms of partnerships. So
I will testify to that.
There you go. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, I appreciate that. So yes, absolutely. Shoot me an email. Anyone that's interested in partner, like, hey guys, I have a company I want to talk to you about. And like, I'll go do a demo for them, or we'll do a YouTube video, a blog post, like whatever makes sense for that particular organization or for that opportunity. Talk with us. We'll work with you. We want you to be like you're a team member here, and we're going to help you in whatever way is possible. So yeah, good stuff, man. Good question, and I got your back.
Thank you.
All right, good. Let me see. I think two more popped into the chat in the Q&A. Connor, I've never tried cold text. I don't think cold text is technically legal these days anymore. I think they have to be opted in. Now, if you sent it from like your personal cell phone, I don't think that's as big of an issue. I don't think that has the same regulation. But guys, like for Twilio, right? Twilio is one of the most common providers of these online phone numbers. Every CRM, most CRMs are using Twilio on the back end to send their text messages or to power up their text messaging. When you apply for a Twilio number, or any of these online numbers, one of the first questions they ask is, how are people opting in to receive these text messages? Because you're not supposed to send any text messages if they're not opted in to receive them from you particularly. So, John, you answered my question here for me. Yeah, so exactly. Text can be considered spam these days. I don't think it's the same. Like, there's so many gray and fine lines here to cross and be careful of. I know 100% certain for these online bulk texting sort of capability numbers, it's a no-no. They won't, I mean, you can do it, but you're going to go get yourself in trouble. And that's why the first thing they ask is, how are they opting in? They want to see the opt-in form, the message, and how are they opting out? That's some of the most important things for them so that they don't get in trouble for selling a spammer a phone number. So that's the government cracking down on them. Cold text is difficult because there's a lot of regulation, may not even be allowed to it. And I'm not an attorney to say whether or not in your specific use case, if it is should be right or wrong. I do know most of the time there's a risk. So you definitely speak to someone qualified in your specific industry. If your organization has legal to speak to, most often it's not going to be allowed. Cold texting is kind of like it's spam these days. So, yep. But and then John, you basically said the same thing to me there. Yeah, interesting strategy. Passing laws is the voicemail inbox. There's also the robo dialer thing though. Like if it's a robot voice, if it's the same recording, then there's some other FTC regulations. Those are like 30 years old or something too. So because the whole AI voice thing came out recently, and they're like, no, this is the same laws that came out 30 years ago with voice recordings. It's not any different from that. Just because it's a robot voice instead of a human recording voice, laws are no different for that stuff. So just be careful, guys, with phones. Do not call lists. You want to be careful with all that. Okay, Connor, does HubSpot do the email domain for us already, or is it different? Yeah, okay. So if you already have your bulk sending set up in HubSpot, you should be taken care of. I'm not, Connor, if there's somebody that set it up for you, do confirm with them. And like if the whole thing was set up many years ago and no one's been sort of monitoring or maintaining it, you'll want to check on those records, just the DNS records that I discussed, SPF, DMARC. You'll actually, if you do one of those deliverability tests, that Warmy or the other one, you'll know right away. This one I would recommend for testing your HubSpot. So what you'll do is you'll do this, say start test. You'll take this list here. It's like 40 emails. You'll copy this list. You'll add the list to HubSpot and then do a bulk send to this list. And then it'll give you a really good breakdown of your score, including if you have your record set up or not. I would do that before your next bulk send on any system. Go run your deliverability test. Because like for us, I thought that sender was good. Like, because earlier this year, it was fantastic. And then I wasn't aware it was being used for some cold stuff. And I went and did a test on it and it was terrible. And I was like, oh crap, I didn't realize we were using it for cold stuff. So let's get it off the cold stuff, get it on the warmer, and fix it up. So
that's good. And now I have 2 domains. I set up our previous one personally, so I know that's one, but we just moved on to the brand and now we have that domain, and I think it's set up correctly, but I'm actually not sure. So I'll definitely test it.
Yeah. Run those tests, because it'll tell you your SPF, your DMARC, your DKM, if they're configured correctly, if there's a mistake there. Those are some of the most important things before the email even goes out. It's like a return address on your email or something. So definitely start there. Yep. Okay, guys, I think I got through everything right in question. Yes, Q&A chat, everything was taken care of.